You can start now.
Good morning, all netizens, those who are bored sitting 54 days in house. So this is a great initiative by PIATA, and PIATA has started its own webinars, and this would be the first one in this series. We professionals always talk about all the rules and regulations word by word, in between the words, in between the lines. But beyond that, there is some other world that we should be aware of. And how do we communicate with that world? So that we need to check it. And for that, only for that purpose, we have got this seminar or webinar, we call it, as per new vocabulary, because I was not much aware of this particular word, webinar. But great that we all are learning handling our accounts. So to start with, we have our distinguished guest here, and I will just like to name of them. Our seminar webinar is Communication Pleasure, and it will be hosted by Shubha Prakash Baldota, Mrs. Shubha Prakash Baldota from Nasik, and she will be giving, she is our guest lecturer, and she will be giving us insight in the communication world. May I start the program with our President's address to the August gathering. President, sir, please.
Hello, everybody. Can you listen to me?
Yes, sir, we
Everything
can.
is okay?
Yes, please go ahead, President.
Good morning, Mumbai. I am happy to welcome you all on this Sunday morning for this web seminar with your friends and family and members. Let us remain cheerful, healthy, energetic, and positive in present situation of lockdown. Let us keep ourselves and everyone around us safe by following the basic guidelines given by the authorities depending upon your location of your house. A PIATA, a 55 years young professional organization, does not require any more introduction. Has taken the opportunity to utilize this time by arranging the various webinars related to building industries and life, health by various other topics and other activities. The way communication with others, with ourselves, ultimately determine the quality of our life. Today, we have eminent speakers, Srimati Shobha Baldote from Nasik among us. She will be enlightening us with the subject communication pleasure. I understand communication is a key of our life, be within family members, at home, with our father and mother, with our children, with our own grandchildren, and so on. That also applies to the society and family friends also. The communication with your clients, your employee in the office, dealing with the authorities in our case is also very important. Srimati Shobha Baldote, counseling psychoanalyst, our chief guest who is with us, choose the subject for today's webinar, communication pleasure, which will be helping us to improve our communication skill. Let us understand and take more and more pleasure with the subject selected by her. I thank everybody present here and now request Suyog Seth to take over to proceeding of the webinar further. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. On a warm Sunday morning, We are all facing the lockdown for last 48 days. And as President Sir has said, we will be learning quite a few life skills during our webinars starting from yesterday. We live a life. We are born and then one day we pass away. So this entire period between our birth to our death is what is known as life. It comes very easily. And do we really need a coach for that? The animals, nobody teaches them how to live. Do they need a life coach? Then why do we need one? Well, I'll tell you a story. Rabia, a very famous preacher, she was staying in a small hut. One day, on a Jummah day, people were passing by her hut. They were going to pray for the afternoon namaz. Everybody was in a hurry. She was searching for something around her, outside her hut. And everybody looked at her and walked away. After the namaz, people were a bit relaxed. So they came back. They saw Rabia still searching. They asked her, Rabia, what are you searching? She said, I'm searching for a needle. So everybody joined in one by one. Everybody started searching for needle. Half an hour passed. Then people asked her, where did you drop it? She said, I dropped it in my hut. And said, what is this? You are searching for so long. You are making us search. You have dropped it somewhere and now you are asking us to search it for here. She said, परवरदिगार अपने खुद में है, कहाँ नमाज में और मस्जिदों में ढूंढते हो? So we all have that intrinsic goodness in all of us. We have to only radiate it to others. And that radiation happens through communication. We all want to make an impact in our life. We want to be purposeful. How can we be purposeful? For that is something that can be taught to us by life coach. So we have here a professional counselor and a life coach, Shubha Baldota. Shubha is an MA in psychology. She has got a very flourishing practice at Nashik. She is an accomplished trainer. She is a trainer in soft skills as well as life skills. She has been awarded by Government of India for the training she imparted to CRPF. In fact, it's very interesting to see the names of her seminars, various seminars that she has conducted: successful failure, time enhancement, learn to learn, power of invention, interdependence in independence. In fact, the book which she has penned is A Thought for a Penny. It talks about the psychological journey of the concept of money. Shubha is going to talk today about communication pleasure. She will teach us how to communicate very effectively and how to derive pleasure from the communication that we conduct. And also, when we communicate with others, how others will be happy, others will be pleased with our communication. In fact, many bosses amongst us will have to learn this skill of making others happy with their communications. With this, I hand over to you, Shubha. We are very keen to listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Suyo.
Welcome, madam, on behalf of Pieta.
Thank you. Fine. Good morning, friends. Welcome to the webinar, Communication Pleasure. I have scripted almost everything that I'm going to share with you today, except the spontaneous additions which I might make. The purpose of the script is to be able to convey the content fully, just in case there is any issue with the audio transmission. So, shall we begin?
Yes, please go ahead.
The purpose of communication. Generally, we communicate for various purposes, such as communicating our thoughts, emotions, feelings, knowledge, news, message, etc. For example, the purpose of communication for a newsreader is to give information about current affairs, sports, weather, economy, or the globe. A precise and standard language is therefore used while giving news through media. Sometimes we may not desire a response from anyone. We may express our thoughts, artistic talents just for the sake of creation or expression for our own satisfaction, fulfillment, or joy. Like when we draw a painting or when we sing. But in interpersonal relationships, whether private, social, or professional, we want to elicit a particular response from the listener, which would be beneficial for us in some way. As such, it is our responsibility to communicate in a way which will transmit exactly that, what we mean. All behavior is communication. We cannot not communicate. We communicate through eyes, facial expressions, gestures, postures, sounds, breathing, smiles, laughter, touch, tone, voice modulation, pauses, silence, clothing, handshakes, eye movements, appearance, and a lot of other things. It could be through visual action or invisible action. We are always communicating something, and when the other person says that this is what I'm understanding from what you said, or this is what I'm understanding from what you're not saying.
Vilas, is there a voice break? Madam, 1 second. I think there is a little voice break in the connection. We are getting messages from the attendees. There's a little communication. I think we can just pause and Vilas, was there a voice break or it was proper for you? Vilas, you're muted.
There is voice.
There is a voice break. Okay, fair enough. Ma'am, we can just continue. Probably, as you rightly said, the PPT is there. There's a little voice break we are encountering, but I'm sure the PPT will carry on. So we also will cater to it. I'm sorry to interrupt, Mrs. Baldota. You can please carry on. Continue.
We are communicating all the time. It could be physical action or vision. But do not deny when somebody says that this is what I understood.
Putting your video off. Your video, only your video.
Ma'am, by putting your video off, the bandwidth will be better. Probably the audibility of your speech will be more clearer. So if you keep your video off and talk, it would be a little more clearer probably. We are not able to, if you can just click your camera on that stop video and you can continue talking, the PPT will be visible to us on sharing and we can hear you properly.
I think there is some
Communication.
network error.
So I think
You, can I
somebody can
suggest one
see it,
thing?
or maybe
I
Yes.
suggest one thing. If
Yes.
you have to take her on phone call,
Yeah.
keep your phone on speaker and
Yeah.
keep it next to your mic.
Yeah,
That
I'll do
will
that.
solve
I'll do that. I'll do that.
you just have to wait.
Okay, karna pena.
Request for a little patience. I'm sure the technical issues will be sorted out. The presentation is basically
Slide तो मिलेगी at least.
communication skill and how do we interact. She's also an author. She's also has been a marital marriage counselor. She's been a fantastic workshop speaker.
तुझा स्वतःचा व्हिडिओ ऑफ ठेव.
योमेश,
Yes,
शुभा बलदोटेचं
video off ठेव आणि तू बोलत
युट्यूबवर
राहा.
बरेच तिचे आहेत. तो कुठला तरी चालू करेल तोपर्यंत.
No. We'll probably wait because this is a live thing. We cannot interrupt and do this. Let's have a live thing, or otherwise one of us will have to go with the PPT. She will be there to answer questions at the end of the event, as rightly taken. Vilas, maybe you can.
Yomesh,
Yes, Vilas.
you can stream the video and ask her to stop her video. So that will just allow her voice to be carried by network. So that will be easy for voice transmission.
Yeah,
And video
I
should be
think
streamed by your side.
her video and volume is mute. I'll just unmute Mrs. Baldota and
Yeah. Then she can speak. Only the voice will be getting carried by the network.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mrs. Baldota, I think you can just stop. I will share the screen and you can just speak. Let's see that if that works better for us. I'll just share the screen.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Yes, you are audible now.
Right.
You can start with the first slide.
The slides are.
Okay, I'll go back. Fine. The purpose of communication.
Is the slides visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Generally, we communicate for various purposes, such as communicating our thoughts, emotions, feelings, knowledge, news, message, etc. For example, the purpose of communication for a newsreader is to give information about current affairs, sports, weather, economy, or the globe. A precise and standard language is therefore used while giving news through media. Sometimes we may not desire a response from anyone. We may express our thoughts or artistic talents just for the sake of creation or expression for our own satisfaction, fulfillment, or joy, such as when we sing or when we paint a picture, such thing, or dance. But in interpersonal relationships, whether private, social, or professional, we want to elicit a particular response from the listener which would be beneficial for us in some way. As such, it is our responsibility to communicate in a way which will transmit exactly that what we mean. All behavior is communication. We cannot not communicate. We communicate through eyes, facial expressions, gestures, postures, sounds, breathing, smiles, laughter, touch, tone, voice modulation, pauses, silence, our clothing, handshakes, head movements, appearance, and a lot of other things. It could be through visible action, or invisible omission. I will give you an example of invisible omission. For example, when somebody is talking to us and the person expects that we will nod our head, but we do not nod our head and just keep our face blank. That also communicates something to the speaker. So do not deny. Take responsibility of your communication. Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal signals are unconscious parts of our behavior, which is a deeply rooted part in our entire makeup. In fact, it is the most basic part of our personality. NVC, that is non-verbal communication, is the unspoken communication that goes on in every face-to-face encounter with another human being, whether we realize it or not. Action speaks louder than words. The composition of verbal and non-verbal communication is made thus. Our body language has 55%, tonality has 38% in communication, language has only 7%. 7% is content and 93% is intent. The salt of communication. Language is said to play only 7% role in communication. Nonetheless, language acts in communication as salt does in food. A little less or a little more and the test gets spoiled. Be careful about your choice of words. Improve your vocabulary. Crystallize your thought before talking. Be clear what you want to communicate. Be authentic. So what constitutes authenticity? Consistency in your thoughts, words, and actions constitutes authenticity. When our intent matches our content, we can communicate perfectly. Even the most uneducated person can understand the inconsistency, though they cannot prove it in black and white. If we deny what we have communicated, we just lose trust further. Whenever our thoughts, that is intentions, our speech, tone, expressions, and our body language are consistent, we can communicate almost perfectly. I have purposely used the word almost. Firstly, there is no such thing as perfection. And secondly, words having certain denotations always have several connotations. Denotation is the precise literal definition of any word that can be found in a dictionary, whereas connotation is an idea expressed by a word in addition to its main meaning. I will explain this with an example. For example, the denotation of the word blue is the color blue, but its connotation is sad. In the blue mood connotes in the sad mood. Words carry cultural and emotional associations or meanings in addition to their literal meanings or denotations. Although connotation refers to the wide array of positive and negative associations that most words naturally carry with them, it may change from person to person. For example, if I say elephant, someone might be reminded of that famous story of 7 blind people trying to interpret the elephant. And someone might even just remember the movie Hathi Mere Saathi. You just can't know what the connotation other person will be having of the word. And here lies the challenge in communication. Responsibility of communication. The meaning of our communication is the response that we get. I repeat, the meaning of our communication is the response that we get. Yes, you heard it right. We can know what is conveyed from the response of the listener. It must match the receiver's pattern of interpretation. If desired response is not given by the receiver, we must rephrase what we had transmitted. If desired response is not given by the receiver, we must rephrase what we had transmitted. In short, We must take responsibility of the communication. With observation and practice, we can master communication skills. It is very easy to complain and blame others for not having understood us or having misunderstood us. But blaming and complaining make us absolutely powerless. We are at the mercy of the other person's ability to listen and to interpret. If we take responsibility, if we take ownership of the response our communication is likely to generate, we have the opportunity and power to communicate again if the desired response is not received. In professional or social communication, we do not just need to take responsibility of our words, but also take into account factors like situation, place, time, surroundings, and such other things. For instance, if the time is not right for saying what we need to say, we may need to use more polite, humble gestures. Observation and experience help us understand the right way to communicate. I thought you meant and I didn't mean it syndrome. We have heard these phrases innumerable of times. I thought you meant. मुझे लगा तुमने ये कहा. I didn't mean it. मैंने ऐसा तो नहीं कहा था. This is very common, absolutely common in day-to-day conversation. Either we have interpreted the message incorrectly or we have transmitted it vaguely. Sometimes we get a chance to correct the message or rephrase the message or ask the other person to elaborate for clear understanding, but oftentimes misunderstanding takes roots and has far-reaching effects. Brevity, precision, conciseness are certainly important features of a literary piece of work or a good oral or written communication. However, this cannot be opted if they leave room for ambiguity. When we intend to communicate our thoughts clearly with a desire to receive a particular response, clarity is much more important. A couple of words in our speech may seem unnecessary or extra, but if they serve the purpose of perfect communication, redundancy does not matter. Communication is indeed a skill and of course an indispensable one. But what allows its sharpening is the art of understanding people. After all, with whom do we communicate? It's people. People have different communication styles and listening patterns. But their styles and patterns may change depending on the situation, period of time, the person they are interacting with, and so on. A variety of factors can be responsible for such shifts, and we cannot guess those too. Empathy is the answer. We sometimes see someone in an irritable mood and pass a comment that he or she must have had a fight with his or her spouse in the morning. बीवी से झगड़ के आया होगा, पति से झगड़ा हुआ होगा. But do we really care? We should have a more empathic approach in communication. People respond better when we speak and listen with empathy. Empathy does not mean sympathy. It simply means trying to understand the situation from the other person's perspective. It helps us frame our communication. Speaking to listen and listening to speak. This is the principle we should practice with people with whom we need to communicate regularly or even occasionally. Whenever we speak to them, we should make it a point that they get space to share their responses, thoughts, or opinions with us. They should feel the comfort and freedom of speaking. The warmth in our words and tone communicates our receptivity. People then speak their minds and even their hearts. But remember, this should be genuine. If it smells diplomacy even slightly, they will close their minds and hearts. Listening is the soul of communication. All of you must have heard this sentence. Let us just look at some ways of listening, some common ways of listening. There are many other ways of listening, but we will focus on these few. I will explain in brief each. Selective listening. Selective listening is when we do not listen to the entire content, especially when we are listening to children, toddlers, or little children who are constantly chattering. We only listen to some selectively to whatever they are saying. We do not listen to everything that they are saying. Then comes pretentious listening. Pretentious listening is many of us do when we are not interested in the subject or the person, but we cannot even say that I don't want to listen. In that case, we generally pretend to listen. We are just nodding our heads mechanically, but our mind is not with that person. We are not attentively listening to them. Defensive listening. Defensive listening is that which assumes that the person who is speaking is going to blame us, is going to attack us. And we listen from that perspective, as though the moment he finishes his talk, I will have to defend myself. Then comes critical listening. Critical listening is not something with an intent to criticize. Critical listening is with an intent to evaluate. For example, if you're going to purchase something, or even if you're going to purchase a property, then whatever information the speaker is giving you about the property, you are listening with a critical approach. That is, in your mind, you are evaluating all the information. Next is comprehensive listening. Comprehensive listening means listening to understand. For example, the way we listen in the classroom. Appreciative listening. Appreciative listening is when we listen to something to enjoy, to appreciate, like listening to a song or your favorite orator. That at that time you are in the appreciative mode. You listen appreciatively. Now the last three, active, reflective, and empathic, are the most important types of listening. Active listening is very useful in face-to-face communication also, and also in telephonic communication. Active listening simply means whatever the speaker has said, reiterate it to him, repeat it to him, and ask whether you have heard it correctly. Let him confirm and then go ahead. So the speaker becomes sure that you are attentive, you are receptive, and you are listening correctly. This is very helpful in building relationships and in communicating properly. Reflective listening goes one step further. Reflective listening means you communicate back not only the words of the speaker, but also the intent of the mood of the speaker. This is reading in between the lines. Whatever the speaker is trying to say, you are also trying to understand the mood, the feeling with which he is saying so. Of course, when reading between the lines, do not add your own prejudices or whatever prejudices about the person, about the subject. Just try to understand what the other cues, the body language, the tone, all that is communicating to you. Combine his words, his body language, his tone, and then tell him back what you have understood from it. There is a difference between active listening and reflective listening. In active listening, we repeat the words to the speaker. In reflective listening, we also re-communicate to the speaker what you have understood of what the speaker has said. Last but not the least, empathic listening. Empathic listening means going into the shoes, stepping into the shoes of the other person and trying to understand what the person is trying to say. Here, empathy does not mean sympathy. You just have to understand the personality of the other person and what that person is trying to say. It is not मैं उसकी जगह होता तो क्या सोचता. It is इस तरह का इंसान इस सिचुएशन में क्या सोच सकता है, क्या बोल सकता है, क्या कर सकता है. This is the way. It is not about putting ourselves, our personality in his place. It is trying to understand his personality and situation and then trying to understand what he is trying to communicate. When the other person is speaking, we must be attentive to their words and non-verbal cues. Such attentive listening and sometimes even active listening will definitely help us build the rapport. As we practice communicating in this way, with time, we will know what and how things are received and interpreted by the other. Particularly in communication with your family or friends, this is the golden rule. It helps us have harmonious bonds. In close relationships, usually a warm and caring touch does half the job. Communication pleasure. Now we have come to the title of today's webinar. Once you have mastered the most precious skill of listening and have invested time in understanding people, you will know what is meant by communication pleasure. That aspect of interpersonal relationships, which we consider to be a big issue or problem, will become a source of joy. This pandemic has come with a big message, a message loud and clear: go slow. And while we go slow, our leisure, our time, how are we going to invest that? We are going to invest it in understanding people. Before we move on, here are a few tips about body language at workplace. Many of the following you may be already knowing, yet there is no harm in brushing up. Here you are. Presentable appearance matters a lot. Sitting and standing style speaks volumes. How you're sitting, how you're standing, that tells the other person whether you're a confident person, whether you're authentic. Maintaining professional yet pleasant gestures. Polite but firm tone. No slang, please. Greeting and responding to greetings. This is particularly useful in telephonic conversation. Wear a smart but genuine smile. Your posture matters too. Do not lean forward or backward, sit straight. Confident handshakes and eye contacts convey a lot. Here are a few tips for telephonic communication. Only voice and tone are the clues. You may have other clue to guess the listener's mood. You have no other clues to guess the listener's mood, receptivity, and readiness to cooperate. So start your communication with a greeting. It is likely to set the mood for communication. Speak clearly. Use voice intonation. Remember, the last word is the last word. Articulate it well. Unless the last word is heard clearly, there is a likelihood of misinterpretation or miscommunication. Use active and reflective listening as far as possible. I know telephonic conversations are generally short, But as far as possible, use active and reflective listening so that there is no miscommunication or misinterpretation. Thank you, friends.
Vilas.
Was it audible?
Yeah,
Yes, perfectly, perfectly.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much.
It was a very nice show.
Vilas, switch on your camera. Video
yeah.
camera.
You are visible. You are visible.
Visibility.
Is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, madam, for very good insight into communication world. Now we have few questions from audience, and we would like to take those questions. And also our panelists are there, so they also would like to have few questions. So one of the question from the attendees, that is, how do we understand what is the mind of the opposite person before communicating with him? Can you answer this question?
If the person with whom we are going to communicate, if he's a new person, then definitely we cannot understand the mind. So at such juncture, we have to use some formal rules, normal rules of communication. How to speak with a stranger or with someone with whom you have been introduced for the first time. Then there are some basic manners of communication which we can follow. But if we know the person, that is, if we have invested our time in understanding the person, knowing the person, then we will know how to start the communication with that person.
Mrs. Baldota, I would request you to on your video now, because now the presentation is over. I'm sure the bandwidth is better. So
Okay,
we will be able to communicate with you on your face. So we have just learned from you the communication type. So I'm sure that communication looking at you would be much more better for the attendees.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a great one. Vilas, go on with the questions, please.
Yeah, Shirish Sukhat has some questions. So,
Let she start her video first.
Wait a moment.
Yes.
I will also ask after I see her, because
Yes,
watching expressions of a young lady is always a pleasure, right?
Yes.
Shubhaji, are you on now? Can you listen me?
We are not able to see her. Just wait.
But she can listen to me, right?
Yeah. You can go ahead.
In the meanwhile, attendees, we are actually looking at your chat, as well as you can raise your hand. You want to have a good question, you can put a question on the chat to the panelists, to Vilas and to Suyog. We will communicate it with Mrs. Baldota. She can also read it, and we'll see how we can answer all your queries.
I think my video has been stopped from the host's end.
Suyog, please start. By the time I'll ask my question.
Sure.
My question is very descriptive, because I liked your presentation very much, and something which I have already read in body language and so many other things by which we keep on communicating. And many times my builders who are illiterate, they always tell me कि phone पे नहीं बात करेंगे, सामने आके बात करेंगे. So they want to utilize all their access of communication to tell me कि सुखात में साहब अभी resignation दे दो, सुखात में साहब, all those kind of things they want to do it. And I already categorized those people who doesn't want to speak on phone, but they want to speak by one-to-one contact. Many times we also say कि I don't want to speak on phone, but हम लोग मिल के बात करेंगे. तो ये मिल के बात करने का जो सिलसिला है वो अभी तो बंद है. Now we cannot meet, right?
Right.
Now, second, my point was, like, when somewhere I saw, when your voice was breaking, that only words and talking is only 7% important, right? In that case, then why you give so much stress on what language we use, which word we use, whether we are accurate or not, or whether we should be slang or we should not be rough? Because I have seen, without taking them, so many politicians from Thane, so many politicians from Ghatkopar, they are very rough in speaking. Some of them very stalwart politicians who used to give lectures from Shivaji Park never used to be polite. then still they are very popular, and we call it ki they have very strong communication skill. Like the Hitler used to speak. Hitler never used to speak goody goody. He used to speak in such a way that people will fight aggressively. And second issue, like when you have said something like you should touch and speak, but every time that possibility is not there, because there are gender partitions, there are so many other issues.
About touch,
So can you just elaborate on those? I stop my question. Thank you. Now it's for you.
Yeah.
The video is on now, madam. You can just check it out.
Yeah. First thing is, when I said about the answer is there in the slide itself, the salt of communication. Although language plays only 7% role, it plays the role of salt as it plays in food. It is very important. You cannot use rough language, you cannot use differently meaning words and expect the others to understand you totally by your body language and tone. So for perfect communication, for almost perfect communication, what is important is consistency between your body language, your tonality, your facial expressions, gestures, and language all together. All these should come together. So far as the touch aspect is concerned, I had said that I've written that this touch is mostly used in your personal relationships with family and friends, not with outsiders. There at the most we use handshakes. No, but handshakes also speak a lot. Your warmth also gets communicated with handshake.
So can I ask you a sub question in this now?
Right.
In this corona, we are being saying कि our Indian culture was so good कि हम लोग नमस्ते करते थे. Western culture में kissing भी है, hugging भी है, and there are so many types of physical touches people do. And we always say कि Indians have never touched, but they have done the handshake, the namaste. And still our culture has survived for so many years, and now people are finding importance of it. So do you have any comment? This is not a question, but I am asking, motivate you to speak on this.
I have a comment on this, that Western people have handshakes और हम नमस्ते से बात करते जरूर हैं, but we also have मिलनी, हम गले मिलते हैं, हम पीठ थपथपाते हैं, ये phrases भी तो हमारी language के हैं. So we also speak through touch. If we are we just cannot compare all the body language with the handshake. Handshake is one thing. We may not shake hands with others, but हम कभी-कभी, and there are different kinds of people. There are basically three categories of people: auditory, kinesthetic, and visual. They have different way of communicating. So kinesthetic person generally communicates through touch, or he understands better through touch. An auditory person understands better through words. So when you are speaking with an auditory person, if you have articulated your speech well, then you can communicate well. Yeah. The visual person will focus attention more on your body language and your facial expressions, your gestures. And especially when you are speaking to women, they are focused more on your body language.
I remember one anecdote. I don't know who host should allow me, because when George Bush took over, Obama took from George Bush, they shook the hand on the dais. And after Obama shook his hand, George Bush went and washed his hand with sanitizer. And it was all recorded in the video. And there was a whole lot of commentary on that. After shaking his hand, he washed his hand. So these are also the ways in which you can communicate. Thank you very much for allowing me to communicate.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have a small question.
Sure.
Communication is always not interpersonal. That is, we are talking to only one person. Many a times we have to address a group, right? Like in a staff meeting. There are people which are having various levels of understanding, various levels of intellect.
Correct.
Now one has to communicate very clearly to all the attendees who are attending that meeting. Now, how do you ensure that the entire spectrum gets your communication very clearly?
I will address this in a about your staff. If as you said, if you are going to communicate with the staff, then you know them to some extent. Some of them, you know, they are very sincere, attentive. Some of them, you know, they are naughty, mischievous, and non-attentive, fidgety. So try to get their attention first. With you can achieve that with eye contact also. You can achieve that with adding some humor to your speech. When you add humor to your speech, then also people become attentive. And in one-to-one meeting, we can be very particular about our words and our gestures when we talk with that person. But when we are speaking with a group, then we have to use some standard ways of voice intonation or standard ways of gestures and body language, right? So this is how you can communicate with the, and if we go on a larger scale, that is, if we have to address a bigger group of people, say 100 people, 200 people, or a public speech, then your voice intonation, your posture, and your facial expressions also speak a lot. And as far as possible, try to keep eye contact with the people so that they will remain attentive to you.
There's a question from our past president, Mr. Ajit Khatri. Many times we need to be very political when we speak. Basically, when we know for sure that somebody in front of us is telling a lie, and we are not able to tell it on the face because of the proprietary of speech. How to handle that communication is what Mr. Khatri would like to ask.
There are many ways of handling such communication. First is, as I said, understanding people. When we know the other person is lying to us, if we just apply our mind a little to this fact that why he might be lying, if we can address that intent, why he is trying to lie, if we can make that person comfortable in speaking and give him a space to speak where he doesn't need to lie, if we create such an environment in which he doesn't need to lie, then the problem will be solved at that level itself. But sometimes when we know he is lying, instead of telling them on face that I know that you are lying, we cannot do it because that will just shut him off. He will not listen to us further. But then try to diplomatically, of course, we do need to talk, but our this diplomacy should not get communicated to the person. Our words should be diplomatic, but our intent should be to communicate properly with the person, to reach his head, to reach his heart, to reach his mind. But I want to reach that person. This should be our intent. Although we may choose our words smartly, what to say and what not to say. But in our heart, if we are clear that I want to reach that person's heart, then we will be able to cross this barrier.
Can I ask one question, madam?
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever conducted any lecture or lesson of communication with a differently able person? And if yes, how was your experience?
Not really. I have not conducted any seminar for differently able people.
Okay, thank you. Vilas?
Shall I ask one question?
Sure.
Vilas?
Yes,
All the
President.
attendees are there who can also raise their hand, and we are happy we can allow you to talk and raise a question directly in case you are finding it difficult to chat. In the meanwhile, President, please go ahead with your question.
There is a joint family staying together. One brother is very talkative, very positive, approachable. The another is sincere. The dealing of both feelings, everything is almost same, but the society valued them in a different way. What could be the idea, suggestions of you, how to improve them? Hello? Is the question reached to the lady? Shobha madam. Hello?
Yeah, Mrs. Baruta, you can speak now. I think I just, I will unmute you. Yeah, go ahead, Mrs. Baruta.
Can't hear.
Can't hear. Can't hear.
Mrs. Bardota, you are,
Has been contacted.
I think internet connection bandwidth is an issue. I think we'll just wait for a moment before. President, if you can repeat your question, I'm sure you, Mrs. Bardota, you got your question. You can just raise a thumbs up if you got your question. Then we can answer now if you can answer.
See, let her put off her video.
Yeah,
We can
Mrs.
listen to
Bardota,
her.
yeah, Mrs. Bardota, I know she has to share a video also, I think. So I think that's fine. So Mrs. Bardota, you got the question, you can answer it. Now I think probably the internet is better. Mrs. Bardota, we can hear you now. You can talk.
Yeah.
President had read a question. Yeah.
Shall I repeat again, or is
yeah,
it okay?
Please repeat. I couldn't hear.
That's a joint family having two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
One is active, talkative, and communication is very simple. Another is non-talkative, very simple. Feelings of both the brothers are good. Everything is perfect among themselves, with the father, mother, everything. But the society as a whole looks differently for both the children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fact. That does happen. And those who are talkative will definitely catch attention of more people, and those who are introvert, obviously people pay more attention to the person who is talking more talkative and more expressive, I would rather say. The other person may be better in other modes of communication. Like he might be able to communicate through body language better, or through his some other artistic talents. Maybe he paints and expresses his feelings, and this is we cannot really help in these cases. This is very natural to happen. That those who are talkative will definitely get more attention than those who are less talkative or introverts.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Ajit Khatri ji have some question, I suppose. Yomesh, can you put Ajit Khatri on the...
Yeah, I was allowed to talk. Mr. Khatri, you can go ahead with your question.
One Mr. Kirit Shah also has it, if you can allow him.
Yeah, I will. Mr. Ajit Khatri, I am unmuting you. You are allowed to talk. Can you unmute yourself and talk? Yeah, please. Ajit bhai, can you unmute yourself and talk? Go ahead, Mr. Ajit Khatri. Yeah, please.
Madam, good morning. Can you help me? Can you listen to me?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Yeah, the question that I had posed was that, communicating with somebody and straight away telling him on the face that you are lying. Instead of that, why don't we tell him that, you are not telling the truth, which is a little bit better and, sugar-coated, statement, which would be, liked and appreciated by that person also. That was, one of my issues. And second one was that, when you are, speaking to somebody, you said you have to, see his expressions and all that. Accordingly, that person also would be, seeing your expressions and all that.
Right.
So that way would be a better way of communication and conveying yourself.
Right.
Could you please, answer the first question? Then I have another question also.
Yes, definitely. As I said, that we have to choose our words very carefully so that people do not get hurt.
Yes.
Our words need not be blunt.
Right,
But
exactly.
yeah, the other person also need not feel that we are doing it diplomatically. Our intent is to elicit the required response from the person. So although our words may seem sugar-coated, but our intent should be honest and clear, genuine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and one more thing. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, that, suppose 1 minute, huh?
Sure.
I think so. Go ahead with the other question, then I'll come over.
Fine.
Abhay Wade has a question. We will unmute Abhay. Then Abhay can ask the question. Abhay, please go ahead. Abhay Wade, can you hear me? Abhay? I think Abhay is not getting us. In the Mr. Kapil, you can speak.
Yeah, I'm coming over now. Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Normally, we categorize maybe sometimes things as good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
This is good and this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of that, why don't we say that yes, this is good and the other thing is not good, not so good, which is again another diplomatic way of conveying yourself, which would be a little bit on a positive note. What is your comment on that? Why don't we do that instead of telling somebody this thing is bad? Nothing is bad in this world.
I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you on this. There is no such thing as right or wrong. Nothing is intrinsically right or wrong. अपने आप में कोई चीज सही या गलत नहीं होती. Everything changes from time to time, from situation to situation. Like just now, somebody gave the example of handshake between two presidents, and the one washing the hands after the handshake. In today's time, it will be considered as a wise thing to do. After a handshake, washing your hands will be considered a wise thing to do. So, for example, a person shoots somebody in the lane, he will be called a murderer. But if he shoots somebody on the border, he will be given a medal. So nothing is intrinsically right or wrong. So we have to always remember this, that everything is interpreted by everyone differently, considering his mental makeup, his upbringing, his circumstances, his choices, and his education also. And there are n number of other factors which which make these things like that. So when we want to say, when we do not agree with somebody what that person is saying, so we can, instead of saying this is not right, or we can say that you may be right, but it is not working in this particular situation. It is not giving us the desired outcome if we go with this approach, right? So what is functional? We have to place our stress on what is functional instead of arguing between what is right or wrong. Right and wrong, after all, are perspectives, their opinions. Correct?
Right.
Like that.
So that is why I always try to be positive in anything and everything.
Right. And focus on what is useful, what is functional, what helps us in the current situation.
We'll go to the next question by Mr. Kirit Shah. Mr. Kirit Shah, please unmute yourself and you can ask a question. Mr. Kirit Shah, please unmute yourself and ask a question. Yeah, please, Mr. Kirit Shah, go ahead.
Hello, madam.
Hello.
Good morning, Shubha.
Very good morning.
I want to ask, when there is a message is to be given to some others in a group, so what communication, how to communicate that? Can you tell me?
In a group, in face-to-face group, or in a WhatsApp group, or?
No, not face-to-face.
In a WhatsApp group or online group?
Yes, madam.
Okay, so then you have only one tool with you, and that is language. So you have to articulate whatever you want to say very clearly. As said, that even if a word or two goes extra, doesn't matter, redundancy doesn't matter. Articulate whatever you want to say in a very clear way. Choose the words properly.
I'm absolutely fine. In fact, that's what we understand. In fact, in the communication skill, madam, we realize that actually communication is more of your body language and your tone and less of your language. But unfortunately, due to circumstances, we are compelled to do. In fact, we have seen so many times that an email send or a WhatsApp message send is actually miscommunicated more than a communication, because they understand it wrongly, I believe.
In that case, make as much use as possible of emojis.
Oh, that would be a great thing.
Emojis, so that miscommunication is not done, because a same sentence can be said in different tones and it will have different meanings.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with this. I think it's a very good suggestion, madam, to sending emojis and smiling. Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you.
We have another question from a technical person, and we are this group of professionals. So he's just asking us if our clients are dilly-dallying or giving some excuses while recovering the fees. What is the best strategy for communication? That is his question.
This is very tricky because your strategy will change from person to person. You will you know your client better, and how he responds, how he reacts, what are his normal responses when he apprehends that you are going to call for fees, what responses he can give. Accordingly, you will have to frame your question or start the topic. That's going to be different from person to person. There cannot be a definite answer for this.
Umesh, please unmute Abhay Wadechi, please.
I am trying to do it from here. I think Abhay will have to do it from his side to unmute.
Meanwhile, Sukhatme sir has some question.
No, I think I have opened Abhay. Abhay Wade sir, you can please ask your question. You have been unmuted. Please speak, sir.
Thank you, Pieta, for organizing this good seminar. I think this is second series of Pieta on this, and thank you, Ms. Shubha Valtoda, to advising us with communication. There is a simple question: how the best we should not communicate? How tactically we should avoid communication that will create some kind of displeasure among the group? Can you advise on that?
My answer is, what you should not communicate is that what you really do not want to communicate. अगर आपको कुछ बात बोलना नहीं है तो मत कहो, because if you force yourself to say something, then your intent will reach the person even before your words reach them. So don't say what you do not intend to say. Right. As I said, there has to be consistency between your thoughts, your body language, and your speech. All the three. Is it clear, or did I answer your question correctly, or do you want further explanation?
No, I agree.
Right. Thank you.
Architect Sumedha Gore is here. So I'm unmuting her. Sumedha, you can please go ahead. Sumedha, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Okay, by the time Sumedha does it, we have Pratosh Gandhi here. Pratosh, please ask your question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you are barely audible. You can be a bit loud.
Thank you. This is in continuation with President Sri Dilip Sanghvi. This is regarding joint family. Like during a family discussion, what a person, sometimes a person sits idle, does not speak anything, does not participate in the discussion. How do we communicate that?
Okay. See, in group meetings in your family, when you are meeting together to discuss over a particular topic, then make it, you can make it a system like this. Two problems generally occur. Some do not speak at all, and some speak too much.
Correct.
Right? कुछ लोग बहुत ज़्यादा बोलते हैं, कुछ बोलते ही नहीं हैं. So make it a rule that what I generally do in communication skills seminar is to teach them the proper way of communication. That like circle करके बैठो, keep a stone, circle के बीच में एक छोटा सा पत्थर रखो, and make it a rule that who has the stone in his hand, only that person will speak. Okay, so at a time ज़्यादा लोग बात नहीं करेंगे, and then make it turn by turn, make it a sequence. If you see that there are people who will not speak unless they are made to speak, then keep the system like that. एक के बाद एक turn आएगा, जिसका turn आएगा उसको बोलना ही है. And when that person is not, that person is speaking, no one else is speaking. So everyone will be able to listen to it. But another hitch comes is people seem to listen, but they are actually pretending to listen and just preparing in their minds what they will say next once the speaker has finished his talk. Right? बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि सामने वाला कब खत्म करे और कब मैं अपनी बात कहूँ. So another rule you can add in such meetings is that if you want to speak, you have to first summarize what the earlier speaker said. That proves that you have been speaking to that person, and then add what you want to add. So it brings in complete attention of all the speakers and listeners together, all the members of the group. Is it clear, or should I?
This is in the matter of family discussion. You know, this kind of a thing to summarize between will be very difficult.
But you'll have to start it somewhere. I believe this is a fantastic idea. I believe, Mrs. Baltota, कि एक नया रूल बनाइए कि घर पे जो बात नहीं करता उसके हाथ में पत्थर, तो अभी तेरा टर्न है, तू बोल.
बोलना ही है.
बोलना ही. Somewhere, because otherwise you'll not be able to make somebody who doesn't want to talk ever talk. I believe that's the thing. We can go to the next question. I think Akita Subeda Gore, you can unmute yourself and raise a question. Because please.
Yeah. Thanks for this opportunity, and it was a very informative webinar. So thanks to you, ma'am. My question is, you just briefly mentioned about the 3 types of communications. Like some people are more comfortable with auditory responses, and some are more I don't know. I don't got that word.
Visual and kinesthetic, right?
Okay, so if you can elaborate that so that we can choose our clients best in which category, so that we can communicate with that channel to them.
Right, sure. If you start from your home, if you want to start that with your clients at a later stage, but you can practice that at your home, especially with your children. They have ways of communicating, ways of listening, ways of understanding. They have their own love language, I would say. कुछ बच्चों को प्यार दिखना चाहिए, कुछ बच्चों को प्यार सुनाई आना चाहिए, और कुछ बच्चों को प्यार महसूस होना चाहिए. If we speak it this way, some children need to see love. For example, daddy ने gift लाया, मम्मी ने मेरे लिए लड्डू बनाया. They are able to see the love through these things. They are seeing love. Then there are children who want to listen to words of love. मेरा प्यारा बच्चा कितना शाना है, कितना अच्छा है. These are the words you can communicate love to them through words. And there are children who just need a pat on their back or a simple caress, and they will feel loved. So you can start from your home and try to identify the love language or communication language of your child. And once you master that at home, and even other family members, you will understand. You can also notice the way they speak. The visual people, usually, not always, not as a rule, but usually those who are visual, they speak like this. It looks like, this is the terminology, or this is the phrase they might use. An auditory person will say it sounds. A kinesthetic person might say it feels. The choice of their words also tells us about their language, the category in which they fit in, whether they are auditory, visual, or kinesthetic. And when you come in contact with other people regularly, then you will be able to observe their way of language and what appeals to them. It is always better to combine at least 2, visual and auditory, when we are speaking with professionally. Right? At home, we can combine all the 3, visual clues and auditory and touch also. But when we are speaking on professional platforms, at that time we should try to combine both visual as well as auditory. Is it clear? Am I clear?
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
We have Hemal Shah now. Hemal Shah and Sunil Bhai wants to speak. Sunil Devade, our Vice President. So let's
Hemal Shah is there?
Yeah, Hemal Shah is...
Hemal Shah, I think, raised his question. I'll unmute him. Let's see if he has a question. In
but
the
I think
meanwhile,
he's left, I suppose.
Okay. So then we will have Mr. Sunil Devade who will ask a question.
No, I wanted to speak a question.
Yeah, I want to have a question. Madam.
Yes.
Very good. You are almost answering all questions successfully, almost. And we are making them satisfied. Now I have a question, because most of these lobbies, like now there are so many attendees here, they have a problem of communicating with BMC officers.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have lesser time. We explain our case to them. Mm-hmm. Their expression is totally reluctant. they are not at all interested in listening whatever to us. Still we tell them our case, and then we judge to his face whether he is going to do my file or not. Secondly, same case happens where there are so many judges. I remember our lawyer argued so very well. His entire body language was such that he is going to give judgment from our side, even final arguments. And then ultimately judgment went on somebody else's side. So how much you should rely on these kind of expressions of body language when final result comes that the judgment has gone totally against us? Then the rumors are spread that the judge ne paisa khaya. All that thing keeps on happening. Even the topmost brass officer like these IAS officers, we get hearing for some time. Now in that much time, we try and judge कि मेरा क्या होगा उसके बाद. So do you have any tips and tricks to judge the somebody who is whether he is going to give me a favorable result or who is not going to do my case? Because here most of the people are BMC licensing people and they want to give some sort of feedback कि क्या हो गया, कमिश्नर ने कैसे बात किया, वो केस करेगा कि नहीं करेगा. Of course everyone knows कि वो काम करने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए, वो तो सबको मालूम है. मगर other than that body language से कुछ आपके कुछ tips and tricks है क्या?
बॉडी लैंग्वेज तो बहुत बड़ा सब्जेक्ट है. इट्स अ रियली वास्ट सब्जेक्ट एंड आई वोंट से इट्स लाइक परफेक्ट साइंस. Whatever is written about body language, it is not 100% perfect. Like for example, it is said that when somebody has closed hands, हाताची घडी घालून बसणे ज्याला म्हणतात, that person is not receptive. But it is not always so. Certain people just have the habit of sitting like that, right? So guessing from the body language will not always be very accurate. Sometimes you will be clear and some people are absolutely, they give no clues, as you said, that their faces are blank and their body language is misleading. It can be so. Maybe it is their way of communicating. That they don't want to reveal what is going on in their heart or in their mind. So they deliberately have such gestures or expressions so that you do not understand what's going to happen next. Right. And the first question that you asked about BMC people, you want to deal with them and get maybe some permissions or such things, like some files and all that.
Files should be signed, yeah.
Yeah. The thumb rule is don't speak until you have the person is paying attention to you. First, seek his attention. And you can tell that person, sir, I'm waiting for you to finish whatever you are already doing. I'll wait for you here and tell me as soon as you are free, I would like to speak to you. So if you are giving that person some time to finish, and otherwise, if you are in a hurry, he says, okay, if you are in a hurry, talk. मैं दूसरा काम करता हूँ, आप भी बात करो, सुनते हैं. Then it doesn't go home. Whatever you want to tell, it doesn't reach that person. The most important thing is that person must be attentive. That person must listen to you with attention. So first seek his attention and then communicate whatever you want to.
In that case, there is one small question: how to overcome the feeling like if you are getting entire gestures of rejection from someone, still how you should go further and talk, because that is going to be my work, right? For example, many times when a lawyer is arguing, a judge says, "You curtail your argument." Then he doesn't stop to argue, he keeps on arguing. Then I've seen judges open the midday or newspaper and they start reading in front of him. So whether how to come this rejection kind of feeling and how to make us penetrate in that. Do you have any?
If the judge has already given you a clue that you should curtail your argument, the lawyer must stop there. The lawyer should know when to start and when to stop talking. Otherwise, हाथ में आई हुई केस भी जा सकती है.
Correct.
But another thing, as you said, this rejection thing you can very well handle. Everyone can handle if we all stop taking rejections personally. The opposite person is not rejecting us personally. The person is rejecting either our proposal, our argument. We take it to heart. We take it personally. Ego से लग जाती है वो बात. So keep yourself away from that particular proposal, and then you will be able to deal with it. Then you will be able to approach the other person 10 times, you will not feel offended, you will not feel annoyed.
तो निर्लज्जता ये क्वालिटी होने वाली है.
I think it's a wonderful thing, Mrs. Baltota, you shared. Rejection should not be taken personally. That's a great thing. I think we had a lot of communication talk. One thing I would go on a personal front, because this is a very unique seminar which we have done, where it's not only technical, it is more beyond technical. Probably families are looking at it, and we are also looking at family. And I just understand that you are also a marital marriage counselor and also counseling eligible singles on enriching their life.
Right.
So before we go to the last part where Vilas will take over, something which you would like to suggest, because there are people who are actually with each other for the past 40 days or 50 days. आदत नहीं है, लोग एक दूसरे के साथ रह रहे हैं, नहीं रह रहे हैं, things like that. So what is your, in a broader way, what do you feel is should be taken care of in the family? काम का communication हो गया, अब घर पे आदमी कैसे, या अपने relations में आदमी कैसा खुश रहे. That one, and before we go to Vilas, and we'll take it over because it's already 1 hour.
Yes.
झाड़ू पोता कपड़ा झाड़ू पोता is the only solution.
I think we'll hear from Mrs. Baltota. She'll understand. Bullies, madam. Last one.
घर पे communication के लिए, I would say that this is an opportunity to understand each other, to make and as Stephen Covey says, seek to understand first, then to be understood. कोई मुझे समझे इससे पहले मैं दूसरों को समझने की कोशिश करूं, and try to find out what are the love languages. I will suggest the book, 2 books I will suggest, 5 love languages by Gary Chapman, I suppose. That is for 5 love languages for teens, also for children, 5 languages of couples. There are different books in that, but the basic book 5 love languages is also enough to understand, and that really helps in building harmonious relationships in our families. That's a wonderful thing. Invest more and more time in listening to people than speaking, than talking. So use that time more. And another book I would suggest is Pulling Your Own Strings by Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's a wonderful book. It will be very useful for all of you, all professionals. And particularly I remembered it when Mr. Sukhatme asked about the BMC thing. I remembered that book because some examples of such communication have been given in that book, and it's really useful for communicating with everybody and how not to get victimized and how to get our work done. For that, it's a brilliant book.
Lovely. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll give it to Vilas. Vilas, you can take over.
We have a wonderful session, and I would request now Mr. Sunil Devule, our Vice President, to have a closure speech.
A vote of thanks.
Sunil.
Thank you, Vilas. We use different mediums for communication in this world, but today's webinar made us think about how communication plays a vital role in our life. It has given us a different perspective altogether. Every day, we communicate with a lot of people, our families, friends, or colleagues, or even with strangers. We should learn how to communicate effectively to make our lives better. Communication is a key to express one's thought and very important tool to connect with people. That's what we must understand. It's a foundation of all relationships, and also it helps to facilitate the process of sharing information and knowledge. So today, speaker made us aware of that communication is through verbal or non-verbal medium. Then action speaks louder than the words. Also, language plays a very small role, and body language plays a major role. We should be careful about our choice of words. There should be consistency in our thought and speech. We must take responsibility and talk in such a way so that should interpret it correctly. Also, we are really impressed when she explained the syndrome of "I thought you meant and I didn't mean it." That was really excellent. Also, we should have the ability to listen to others, and then only you will get a pleasure through communication. She also answered all the questions of yours and also go through interesting books, which we must go through it. Well, As a great American automobile executive, a former CEO of Ford and Chrysler Motor, Lee Iacocca, said that can hear better ideas, but if you can't get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere. So on this note, I thank on behalf of Pieta, our speaker and life coach, Mrs. Shubha Toda, who guided us for better communication skills and gave us a valuable inputs, how to get pleasure out of our communication. I also thank our viewers who joined us on this leisure Sunday morning for today's webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to Vilas.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm very thankful to Pieta for inviting me and giving me this opportunity of communication pleasure with all of you. It was really a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Madam, it was a real pleasure things in the Sunday morning with communication with you.
Thank you.
Amazing. I think that's the right word to say. The communicating with you was a pleasure. We really enjoyed this session, understanding something beyond the DCR and all other regulations and open spaces and premiums. It was wonderful. Thank you so much, Mrs. Shubha Baldota. And thank you to Suyog, because Suyog took the initiative, Suyog Sheth, to call you on this fantastic audience. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you all the attendees.
Next announcement.
Vilas, you have to say about the next event. I think.
Announcement of the next program.
On Tuesday, we will be having another seminar or webinar, and that will be for the on the technology, use of technology in construction and how we can do that thing. So that you can, soon we'll be announcing that on the WhatsApp group. So we'll be sending all those information.
Absolutely. So we have our host, Milind will be hosting our seminar on Tuesday evening, 5 p.m. We are going to have a new web seminar. This time it will be more knowledge-based, not what we learned from Mrs. Baldota, but it will be more knowledge-based seminar on the internet. Looking forward to seeing all of you and more to the new seminar. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, panelists, for attending. Thank you, President. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. We'll just end the meeting. I think the recording is already done. We can always share this on the thing. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.